Hey everybody, this is Nat C Jones here, and today I want to ask you a question. Why is it that you're putting up with less? Let's get into it. We've all been there. I've been there, you've been there, where you look back at a relationship and say, why did I put up with that? And then we all have a friend that at some point we have provided advice, offered advice to, and the advice sounded something like this: why are you putting up with this? So I want to delve a little bit today into why we put up with less. What is the number one reason that we tolerate mistreatment from romantic partners, male or female? Why is it? Okay, so there are a few reasons why. And it's good to know why, because if you know why, then you will be informed and you will know how to change that behavior once you understand the root of the behavior. So take yourself back for a minute. Take yourself back to that one relationship that was the most tumultuous out of all of the ones that you've experienced. That one relationship was that big heartbreak, or it was the most challenging, the crucible of your heart. Do you have the picture? Okay. Now think about where you were emotionally. How did you feel about yourself during that time? What was going on in your life, in other areas of your life at that time? Because all of that kind of creates an atmosphere for you to either be empowered or for you to be diminished. So, one of the reasons that we put up with less in relationships is because of the way we feel about ourselves. Sometimes we feel that we don't deserve more than what we're receiving. Of course, it's a lie, but it's how we feel. And our feelings are not our friends. Did you hear that? Please say that with me. My feelings are not my friends. Now, I don't mean that your feelings always hurt you or always mislead you. Sometimes they're right, sometimes they're wrong, but they're not friends. Friends are solid. I would say that our feelings are like associates. Have you ever had someone in your life who you thought they were cool, but you can never depend on them because they constantly change their mind? They constantly forget something that they told you they were going to do, and you're waiting for them to do it, and then they just flake out. I call them flakes. Flakes can't be friends. They don't have the capacity to be friends because friends have to be solid. My friends have to be people that I can depend on to be there for me. And if they can't be there for me, they're not my friends. So that's why I say your feelings are not your friends, okay? Feelings are like the seasoning that we put on food. They make it taste better. They make it more dramatic, but it's not the food itself. Nobody wants to eat a bowl of salt. You sprinkle a little bit on the steak and you eat the steak. Feelings are not the food. Feelings are the seasoning. Feelings are the sprinkles on top of the ice cream. It's not the substance, okay? So we can't make decisions based on our feelings because they're not solid. So yes, number one, the reason we put up with less is because how we feel about ourselves at that moment in our lives. Sometimes we feel good about ourselves, sometimes we don't. And when we don't, our choices about the kinds of relationships that we allow into our lives, it reflects how we feel about ourselves. Number two, another reason that we put up with less can be because we don't believe that better is out there. Sometimes, and I've been there before, I felt good about myself. I just didn't feel good about the options. It's like, I just don't think it's a lot out there that's very good. So, he lies, but at least he doesn't beat me up. Or, he cheats, but at least he takes me out and he pays. So we settle because we have been misinformed about what's out there in the dating world. in the dating market, in the love marketplace. So what's important when it comes to that is not just spending time with other people who are bitter and having the same experiences as us. It's important to spend time with people who are in healthy relationships and who are with people who know how to love them and treat them right, so that you can keep your mind open and understand there's more out here than what I've been seeing. Maybe there's something that I need to adjust in my life so that I can believe that there's more and attract it to me. Okay? So, yes, number one, sometimes we don't feel good about ourselves, and so we put up with less from others. Number two, sometimes we just don't have the faith or believe that there's much out there to look forward to. And so we just deal with whatever we can get. That's number two. Number three, and the last thing that I'll talk about today, sometimes we put up with less because we're lazy and comfortable. It takes energy to date. It takes energy to meet other people, to believe even that there can be something out there for us. Sometimes we get in relationships and we know they're dysfunctional, but we're comfortable. And we're like, yeah, I know there's probably better out there and I know I deserve better, but I really don't feel like starting over with anybody else. I mean, I'm used to them. It's not that bad, but that's called coping. And when you're in a relationship and you're coping and dealing with a person who's not giving you their best and you're giving them your best, you can end up becoming bitter. You end up living a life that is not full of all the things that make life worth the living in the first place. So, what do you do when you're in a relationship that's not serving you? What do you do when you're with someone who is not giving you what you deserve? Well, one of the things you can do is assess, is this person actually capable of giving me what I want and what I deserve? Number one, are they capable? Number two, are they willing to give me what I want and what I deserve? Number three, what am I going to do if they continue to not give me what I want and what I deserve? Those are three things that you're going to have to ask yourself. You're going to have to assess the situation. If they're capable, then you're going to have to speak to them and challenge them. This is what I need from you, and this is how quickly I need it, and this is why. You're going to have a conversation about it. If they're not capable, it's one of those things where you have to decide, am I willing to live like this for another year or so? Or do we need to part ways so that I can go find someone who can give me what I need and he can find someone to give him what he needs? And finally, again, if they're not even willing and they're like, this is me, take it or leave it, please leave it, because you deserve at least the level of love that you're giving out. You deserve the level of care that you're giving out, the selflessness that you're giving out. And people are very capable of change, especially if they're challenged to do so. But if they're not challenged to do so, they're comfortable, or they just don't see your value, you have to make a decision. So, you do not have to live in your love relationships. You do not have to experience less than the best. Relationships are challenging because it requires us to communicate and be vulnerable. But if you can figure out a way to do that, you can either qualify, empower your relationship, or make a decision to disengage it so that you can find what you need somewhere else. But whatever it is you do, doing something is worth it, because your happiness is worth it and you're worth it. I hope this was valuable to you, and I'll see you next time.